Yes, I am here at the Indiana State Prison. It's not a very good video, but this is where I parked. So this past Monday we went to the Michigan City Supermax prison, which was an awesome experience. I've never been inside a prison, and it was just like wicked to be inside one. Before I went in, I expected the prisoners all be locked up in their cells, doing nothing but like maybe sitting around reading books and whatnot. I expected there to be tight security, people walking up and down like the cell blocks, making sure they weren't doing anything they weren't supposed to be doing. And that I also expected when we were walking like behind our tour guide that the prisoners would be either one yelling at us or like maybe throwing stuff at us. And I knew that we had girls with us, and I figured they'd be yelling at the girls since they never really get to see that ever. Um, so then my actual experience, I just thought it was so cool how the longer you've been in there, the more respect you've gotten or have given, and the better behavior uh, you've showed. You get more freedom. Like the guys in I Block, they got the Xboxes, they got the TVs, and I know they had to work for them, making like 20 cents an hour, which blew my mind. They also got the cats, which would take their mind off really what they're kind of being in there for. It'd give them some sense of hope, I guess, or just give them something to do. One thing that surprised me in there was the amount of inmates there were to guards. That in itself is kind of sketchy. Like if I was working there, I'd want there to be more guards than, or more, like a better ratio from inmates to guards. And I also noticed that like they didn't have guns on them, which is also kind of sketchy. Another thing I found cool was like I think it's E Block. They got to be in like their own little cubicle, just kind of doing their own thing. And like they got their own day room so they could work out. I mean, it gives them something to do other than just sit in their cell all afternoon or all day actually. Um, One thing that I can tie back to class was that we always talked in class like what kind of programs they could do and just like things that they can do to better themselves. And I thought it was cool how the Michigan City prison had the hospitality one, the gardening thing, the barber shop, which I would never get my hair cut by an inmate. I just couldn't bring myself to do that, trusting them with scissors right by my neck. And it was cool to see. I think his name was Richard Taylor. He talked about how he wanted more programs and just more stuff that the inmates can better themselves if and when they got out of prison. That way, they wouldn't just be thrown on the streets with nothing, and they wouldn't get tossed back into prison because they go back to their old ways. But and then the end of my experience, like reflecting on it on the way back there, I just can't get over the fact that some of those guys will never be outside those walls again. I would never ever want to be in a place like that, and it just blows my mind. Like it kind of hit home. Like I'm just like I don't ever want to mess up. I don't ever want to be inside the Michigan City prison ever. It was a cool experience, but I hope to never be back.